Welcome to the show, Jennifer Glasse, international journalist. So we're reflecting on the sad passing of Queen Elizabeth II. You was lucky enough to meet the Queen, wasn't you?
I was. It was 2007, and it was a great privilege. I was invited. She was the patron of the college that I attended here in London, the Royal College of Defence Studies, and she was coming to visit, and I was one of the lucky alumni invited to come. Oh, she came along with Prince Philip.
Oh, great. And even though the moment must have been brief, it's a moment you'll always remember, I imagine.
It is, they, the college says, please arrive early, please be properly dressed. So we had come and all the ladies had gathered in the dressing room downstairs, all getting ready, making sure everybody's hair was perfect. We were all curling each other's hair, making sure everyone's makeup is okay. And then you go up into one of the grand rooms of the college and they go through all the protocol, what you can do, what you can't do. Um, you know, do curtsy if you feel like you wish to curtsy. It's not obligatory. It's ma'am like jam. Do not touch the queen unless she extends her hand to you. And every time they did the do's and don'ts, the college secretary would look at me pointedly as if I was going to be the person who embarrassed the college. And there was a bunch of senior people in the room, and I was like, "Look, what? I'm all dressed up. I'm in my best clothes. I'm in beautiful high heels. I swear I'll be good. I swear I'll be good." Um, and the one thing that really struck me is he said Her Majesty does not like it when the room goes silent when she walks in. And I thought, oh, well, that's not going to be a problem for us. These guys are all senior military, they're senior diplomats. Everybody is very, very well practiced in this. Prince Philip came in, it was all lovely. He came and chatted with our group and then went around to other members of the group. And then he went off into another room. And then these giant grand wooden doors open, and there she was. And the room went silent. And I turned to the guy next to us like, no, 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 no. Keep talking, keep talking. Just don't stare, keep talking. Tell the person next to you what you had for breakfast. You keep talking, keep talking. And I can understand how it would make one feel uncomfortable. And she came over to our group and was introduced around and recognized one of the diplomats in our group who was thrilled. She's like, oh my goodness, can you imagine it was a year ago or 2 years ago that she was at this reception. And then she turned to me and she said, I understand you're the only journalist who's ever come here. Why would you choose here? And I said, well, Your Majesty, look around. Just in this group, you have a Romanian diplomat next to a Turkish diplomat next to an Indonesian military official. And I went through everybody in our group of 8 or 9, and I felt like I'd included everybody. And it was just a magical moment. It really was. I felt like I had hit the grown-up stakes, like I was poised and together in front of the Queen.
Yeah, and as you say, she reached so many people, didn't she, around the world?
Absolutely. And you get a sense. I was fortunate enough. I've been to other royal events. I was at an event with then Prince Charles, now King Charles III, and of course this event with the Queen. And you are struck at how much public service there has been. That was she was 81 then. I think that was one of 3 events she had that day. And present, engaged. I saw her laugh with, she had a very special spot for the military. And of course, this college has run very senior military officials who have obviously come into contact with her before. And so there was just a real sense of joy and camaraderie, lots of smiling. And you realize what a hard job it is, like not an easy job, obviously full of privilege, but definitely service.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. And yeah, fantastic you got to meet her. And of course, we're all in a period of mourning over here. I was lucky enough. I went up to Buckingham Palace and I put some flowers down. And yeah, it's sad, isn't it? I mean, it's inevitable, of course. But yeah, it'd be interesting, wouldn't it? King Charles II, as you say.
That's right. I mean, the passing of Queen Elizabeth is truly the end of an era. Truly, I don't know that Britain will ever have such beloved a monarch again, because thrust into it at such a young age, and at a time when Britain was going through so much change. And then she just was a force of stability for so long, you know, and through to the very end. I think what really struck me was that on the Tuesday, she oversaw the transition of power between Boris Johnson and Liz Truss, and on Thursday she was gone. You know, so
Yeah.
right to the very, very end, you know, she served Britain with great dignity and majesty and honor. And I know that there are some who, you know, have different feelings about the monarchy, but say what you will, she's a woman who, you know, believed in serving the country and doing the best for the country, and, you know, in a very selfless, unpolitical manner, which of course is such a change today, you know. Yeah, and I don't know whether I mentioned it, but you know, it was such a tumultuous day, and so kind of fraught with all of the niceties around it, that it didn't really strike me until I was leaving the college and going to another event, and hopped into a black cab, and the cabbie said to me, "Well, you're all dressed up, you know, are you off to do something?" And I said, "Actually, I've just met the Queen."
Oh,
And
wow.
he stops, and he looks in the rearview mirror, and he's like, "You know, people live to be 100 and never meet the Queen." And it really hit me. It really, you know,
Yeah. Fantastic. And yeah, as you say, with the Queen, she was also our link to World War II, wasn't she? Really?
she saw, you know, she lived through World War II. She worked through World War II. I think that just gave her a very special opportunity as well, because I think the people felt connected to her. And I just think there's just an advantage to ascending to the throne at that young an age, and bringing the country, like, she has seen momentous changes. So when I met her in 2007, she was 81. The first iPhone was 6 months old.
Yeah. How many has there been since?
Um, right, we're on iPhone 14.
Wow.
Uh, you know, I think she moved with the times. You know, she was obviously the first to have a royal website. Her father did not have a royal website, and she embraced that, and then moved forward into social media. So I think she understood that she had to modernize the monarchy as much as she could, but also keep its traditions.
Mm.
Um, and and I think she did that with amazing grace, and in like, not with a lot of flash or fanfare, as was her real trademark, but really, yeah, she just kind of quietly ushered it in, and it's like, okay, we have to have a website because everybody has a website. And so, you know, she had a website, and
You
then
embrace the times. Yeah.
Twitter, right? Now the royal family, you know, the royal family's on Twitter. And so, yeah.
And how big are the royal family in America?
So I just moved back here 2 years ago. So I lived in Britain for a very long time. You know, I think they're a fascination. I think there are people who are obsessed with them. I think there's a section of people that really are fascinated by the monarchy, and it's been, you know, I know people have come to England just to go to Buckingham Palace, just to see the royal palaces, and you know, they've been a great draw. So yeah,
I imagine William and Kate are quite popular over there.
very, and of course, you know, the whole Harry and Meghan episode has been massive as well. So you know, yes, it is very interesting now with this whole concept of celebrity.
Mm.
Um, to I think the royal family has a difficult balance. You know, William and Kate are celebrities as well as royals, and it's a balance. It's just it's I think it's 100-fold worse than in Diana's day, when it was just paparazzi. Now everybody's paparazzi. You know, everybody has a camera, so everything you do, I mean, everything you do anyway is under scrutiny. Just look at that whole episode with King Charles and the pen,
Yeah.
right? Just gone
Viral.
viral.
Mm.
Uh, it's a very challenging, it's a again, privileged, wealthy, but challenging. You know, you are in the public eye for your whole life, and you're there to serve the public, and uh, you know,
It's a tough job. It's a life of service, isn't it? I
it
mean,
is life of service, and you're not afforded bad days in public. You're not afforded crankiness in public. It will not, it just, you know, is not done. you
It
know, and
must
I
be
think
hard on Charles at the moment, because his mother's just passed away, and he's doing all these events, isn't he? He has to keep being happy and smiling and waving, so it must be quite hard for him.
it's a difficult time, and it's difficult enough to do it in private. To do it in public, of course, is a challenge, but he has had 72 years to prepare. He knew what was entailed in this.
Yeah,
Um, yes, it will be an interesting time, I think, for Britain moving forward. I just even me, with changing everything from the queens to the kings, you
yeah.
know. So the king's this, the king's that, and you're like, oh
It
wait,
sounds weird, doesn't it?
and what was the rule? Because it was the King's Royal Artillery before. Why wasn't it the Queen's Royal Artillery? So they stay, but some other things change. The money is going to change.
Yeah, I'm waiting for
The
that.
insignias on all the mailboxes will change.
The
It's.
national anthem, that sounds very weird, singing God Save the King instead of God Save the Queen.
I bet. So yeah, it's going to be a changeable, interesting time.
Well, thanks a lot for joining us, Jennifer.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you for having me.